'Twas the night before ranking, and all through the land all the players did panic. Over Azeroth they fanned. The bags were bursting with consumables and nades. The rogues in Undercity sharpened their blades. The alts were parked snug in the inn. Leveling would be hard, let the ganking begin. Rocket boots and trinkets all in our bags, as the Horde and Alliance took up their flags. When out across Azeroth arose all the men, the drums of war thunder once again. Hey guys, how's it going? So, a lot of you know that the ranking system is upon us tomorrow, and a lot of you know that the ranking system will not include battlegrounds in any way, shape, or form. So, everything that you do to rank up and get honorable kills will be out in the world, which is going to make things a little crazy, especially early on. Now, with what we've seen with Blizzard lately is how they've been kind of hurrying up some of the phases. So I wouldn't be too surprised if they announce that they're going to launch maybe Warsong Gulch a little bit early. This would make sense with what they've done in the past, and especially if they see that a lot of players want it. I personally want to see World PvP for a little bit just because I think it'll be so unique and special. But I do want to see Warsong Gulch eventually, obviously, and a little bit sooner than coming out in Phase 3 would be nice as well. So, what do you need to do to be able to compete out in the world? Well, first off, I'll say that rolling around solo by yourself is going to be very, very challenging. Yes, maybe you can snag a few kills here and there if you are a stealth class, or you have a lot of burst potential. But other than that, it's going to be very, very hard. Most people are going to be rolling around in groups of 3 to 5 players, and a lot of guilds will have backup groups in the area. So if one group is contested and they're not able to finish off fights, they can call in some backup to come help out. And there's also going to be a lot of people that are prioritizing ranking positions for specific players that they know are going to be able to put the time in, and also are wanting to rank very seriously. So obviously warriors and rogues, as we've discussed in my last video, really want to rank in the PvP system because the rewards for them are just so much better than anything else that they can get. And they also want to rank all the way up to 14 normally, just because the weapons are so good for them. So a lot of guilds will be kind of enabling their warriors and rogues and some other players to push for those bracket 1 slots early on, and they'll be doing whatever they can to help people out. I'm not really going to be focusing on ranking too seriously. I'm probably going to help out some friends in my guild rank, and other than that, I'm just going to be kind of doing PvP here and there and just enjoying it. And just because I take things more casually early on doesn't mean that I'm going to take it more casually down the road. I probably will rank up to rank 13 eventually, but I just don't have any plans on taking it super serious early on, especially because there's so many factors that we just don't know. Obviously, if Warsong Gulch was coming out or Battlegrounds were coming out, it's much more easy to rank in those environments. You can kind of guarantee a pre-made group and then guarantee an average honor per hour and kind of know how much time you need to spend. But with World PvP, it's really random, and it's going to be very interesting to see. And that's why I kind of want to take a step back and enjoy it, and I don't know, just kind of soak it all in instead of just trying to capitalize on as much honor per hour as I can. So this is kind of where I want to talk about, how much weight you put on ranking and like how important it really is to you. One thing I will say is there's going to be a lot of people that have never played Classic WoW, or they played it a long time ago, and so they kind of forget how taxing ranking really is. So you're going to have people that put, tons and tons of time into ranking early on, and then they get burnt out very quickly. Because ranking is such a long marathon and not a sprint in any way, you can take tons and tons of time out of your schedule to play as much as you can in the first few weeks, and all that's going to happen is in the first few weeks of ranking, you're going to get maybe the first week, if you go as hard as you possibly can, all you can get is rank 3. You'll get sergeant, which doesn't really justify the amount of time spent, I guess is what I'm saying. So if you're really trying to rank as fast as possible, then every little amount of rank points that you can get per week matter, obviously, but in reality, if you take things a little slower and rank slower over time, in the end, it's only going to come down to a matter of a few weeks versus someone getting rank 14 before you and then you getting rank 14 a few weeks later because you were slightly slower than they were. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. That's personally what I'm going to do. I'm just going to have fun and enjoy the game. But that's what I wanted to say about, putting a lot of focus on ranking and knowing that it's more of a long-term goal than something short. And that's just kind of why I wanted to talk about that, because I've seen from previous servers that I've played on where there's players that really want to go after the high ranks, and then what happens is as soon as they get done ranking, they kind of fall off and stop playing. And that was pretty much how it happened with me as well. One of the reasons I kind of stopped playing after reaching my goal of rank 12 was just because I knew Classic WoW was coming out, so I was less motivated to play. But there's a lot of people that stop playing just because there's not much for them to do left in the game. And you guys have to realize that the rank 12 and 13 gear is good, but there is PvP gear that is comparable or in some cases better depending on what class you are. So you need to kind of put ranking in kind of perspective. If you are a warrior or a rogue, it is very good gear, but you can still PvP without it. And that's kind of where the time investment comes into play. Ranking to rank 14 has nothing to do with skill. It has everything to do with, one, it has to do with being able to get in the right group. So it helps being a social person and being able to find groups. So that's definitely one of those big things. But then also time commitment and time investment. If you have there's really skilled players out there that will never even come close to rank 14. And that doesn't matter in Classic, which is kind of nice. They can PvP in their PvE gear and still do fine, especially letting their skill carry them. So don't think that you necessarily have to rank. The ranking gear is good, but it's not end all be all. If you are like me and you're going to take things a little bit more casually, just find a group of people that maybe are going to rank seriously, and then just offer yourself up as more of like a fill-in. So if someone's gone or someone's still sleeping or they're not around, just say, hey, I can step in at any point that you guys need me, and I'm willing to PvP and help you guys out. That's kind of what I'm going to do, and I think that is a good solution for someone who wants to see some organized PvP and have fun in world PvP, but then also doesn't want to have to take things too seriously. That's what any good group should really be striving to do, is make sure that they have some backup players if they're missing out on someone, and that goes for world PvP or it goes for ranked PvP in battlegrounds where they're doing pre-mades. So last thing we're going to talk about is ways to be prepared for tomorrow. So obviously knowing how the honor system works is a big one. Knowing proper group sizes. You don't really want to be playing with too many people in a raid situation, because one, you're just going to be running around the world stomping groups, and it's not going to be very much fun just face rolling people. Plus you're going to be getting very little honor per kill. So the ideal group composition, like I said, would probably be 3 to 5 players depending on who's in your group, and then also just being near another group that you're confident in. So maybe you both are going to be grouped up in burning steps. If there's anyone there that comes across you and is a very hard group for you to fight, or they have more numbers than you can call in your second group that is somewhat nearby. This way you're not really competing for honor, but you're also able to help each other out if you find a situation where you're outnumbered or you're just having a lot of trouble. The next thing we can talk about is consumables. At this point, guys, if you don't have the consumables that you need for tomorrow or the coming weeks, it's going to be very hard. Everything's so overpriced, and while consumables really do matter quite a bit, they're not going to be important enough for you to spend literally 2 to 3 times as much as they're worth. Right now, buying stuff on the auction house would be a really bad idea. If you don't have things saved up at this point, just wait a few weeks and it's going to go down. Like I said, ranking is definitely more of a marathon type event. So if you blow all your gold just to compete in the first week of ranking, it's not going to be worth it. especially because the first few weeks of ranking, like I said, are going to be so highly contested, and there's going to be so many people attempting to rank up. Besides that, guys, everything I've basically said, you just gotta factor it in to your personal playstyle. Ranking could not be anywhere on your radar, or you might want to casually rank up and get some of the blue pieces from PvP. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I'll probably get to rank 8 or 10 and get my blue pieces, and then eventually when battlegrounds are introduced later on, I'll probably rank more seriously. But hopefully this video was helpful, guys. I know I'm really excited to see how World PvP will be. Just even the last day or so, when people have been kind of out practicing and getting excited for World PvP, there's definitely been some really fun battles that have been going across Azeroth right now. So I'm super excited. Hopefully you guys are excited. I think this is going to bring a lot of life to the game. There's going to be more reason to be out and about instead of just sitting around in Orgrimmar looking for a group in World Chat or something like that. So thanks, guys, for watching, and my next video will probably be kind of like some PvP footage from the first few days, and also kind of my goals as a druid when it comes to gearing up. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.